The site is located in a dense residential neighborhood. It's a rectangular plot and it is located at the cul-de-sac. The client brief is fairly simple. They demanded 4 sleeping spaces. The grandparents are really interested into reading, and that's the reason client demanded separate study spaces at both the levels. They didn't want it to be like a room. It wanted to be like an alcove, which could be connected to the main public spaces. They have a daughter, she's 9-10 years old, and they wanted her room to be connected to the master bedroom. So those were the specific requirements for the project. They are also interested into Vastu. However, Vastu is only taken care for main spaces. They don't really take command of the design. Only at few spaces in terms of kitchen and bedroom area, the Vastu is followed. Outdoor spaces are very important. Outdoor spaces are important for any residential spaces. Garden and courtyards became the most important part, and that's how we started designing it on the plan. We try to develop a seamless connection between the inner and outer spaces.
The plot area is around 5,000 square feet and dimension of the plot is 80 feet by 60 feet. We have the plot facing towards the west side, and west side is the main approach road, so we have the only one entry to the plot. The longer side we have facing the north and other is the south side of the plot. The sun rise from the back side of the plot and set in the front of the plot. Initially, we have thought of the green space towards the north side and the massing blocks towards the south side. Then we have thought of introduce another green space somewhere over here, which is south side, to get the benefit of natural wind direction, and we actually puncture the mass from in between. We have moved to the another massing layout, which is the refined version of this. There will be 2 blocks. One is at the back side and the another is in the front side. What we have got is a central open space, which is a family living space and connected with the garden. We have added a deep veranda towards the main garden sides, also connected with the living space and the dining space, which are mostly used by the family throughout the day. And exactly opposite towards the south side, we have added a courtyard. So again, there is a thought of continuous wind flow, and the remaining portion will be the garden. There is a provision for a car park from the roadside.
When you walk inside the house, you are greeted by an entrance from where actually the entire green space is also connected. On one side, we have the formal living area. The formal living area is open entirely to the green garden spaces, and that's a separate unit with a low height. Because of the double height volume, it is quite fresh and very well ventilated throughout the entire day, and this itself happens to be the wind direction. There are fixed glass openings provided on the double height from which the natural light comes in throughout the day. As we go deep, there is puja according to the Vastu orientation. There is a delicate staircase which takes us to the first floor. So the study space is located here, which directly opens again into the veranda. So there is a seamless connection which is being maintained between the study space, sitting, and the veranda space. And it is from the study space that one can enter into the grandparents' room. And the study space is then adjacent to the kitchen area, and then there are utilities on the rear side. Moving on to the first floor, from the staircase, there is a lobby which actually forms a bridge area overlooking the double height space, which is the living and the family space. This particular bridge from the staircase eventually takes us to that space where the entire house can be seen. From the bridge area, we again move into the study space, which is for the daughter, and that actually acts as a common space for the master bedroom as well as the daughter's room. That was also a very specific requirement for the client. The foyer space also completely overlooks the garden space. That forms a sitting space and an interesting alcove. And from the same space, we move on to the guest bedroom area with the services there. There is a staircase which leads us to the terrace area. From the street side, we wanted a low height profile, and so that as one goes deep, the height starts increasing. One is able to see these roofs which are floating, and we've given an element which is like a tower, but then these roofs are braced by the greens which forms the main garden area. So conceptually we were very clear about giving a low profile and a low height towards the street side, and it goes deep, and the height increases for the entire built mass, taking care of the programmatic spaces required by the client. As the concept materialized, these form the gable roofs, which are more like floating. Even in the space layout, the formal living room area, which almost comes out as a separate space overlooking with the garden on all the three sides, has got a gable roof on the top, which gives a very interesting volumetric dimension to that entire space. There is a foyer area, and there is almost a triple height tower. The tower is of a very interest value for the street facade, but at the same time it takes the staircase and the water tank. We have the living and the dining space, which are the double height spaces. And these double height spaces, they have a very delicate bridge from which the first floor spaces are connected to the ground floor. It also adds a very integrating value to the entire space because there is always a connectivity into the house. The staircase is an MS staircase. We wanted that staircase to be an element in the double height space, where it is not overpowering the space but adding more value to it. We have given cavity walls, which acts as a very good for thermal comfort. They happen to be on the ground floor. We have provided different slit windows. At the same time, there are windows provided just below the slab so that all the spaces look continuous. For the guest room area, we have provided 2 slit windows from which the entire double height volume of the family and the dining can be seen. At the same time, there happens to be a fixed window adjacent to the double height space from which the natural light is available throughout the entire day. For the gable roof, we wanted a truss. Generally what happens is that in a truss, we do have a middle member, and that breaks an entire volume of the inner space. So we were very clear that we wanted a truss that could help us create interesting volume inside, which are triangulated, and hence we went for a Caesar truss. The Caesar truss is made from the MS sections. Initially, when we were trying to conceptualize it, we thought that we could go for a fabricated roof for the gable. But then from the maintenance point of view, we thought that an RCC roof would be better. The truss is welded to the reinforcement of the RCC slab. The external material for the roofing, we have used shingles. Shingles are the one which provides good waterproofing. At the same time, they reflect heat. The 2 sides of the gable roof are kept open with a clear glass. The glass is toughened and laminated, and it provides a clear view of the sky, and the entire daylight could be enjoyed. We have used natural material for the internal finishes. There is Indian marble for the flooring. and Kota stone in the courtyard area. There are few walls which are exposed RCC and few walls are plastered. And then there are fixed and openable windows. They are toughened double laminated windows. The material used for the external finishes is that on the ground floor we already have cavity walls, and these cavity walls have an aggregate finish. The selected aggregate finish is grey in tone, which also matches the color of the roof shingles. It gives a base to an entire urban form. And the first floor are plastered walls, which gives a lighter look. And the tower is exposed RCC. The landscape is done by Shushma Sawant, and the interiors is done by the client, Kurunji Design. Her name is Chandni Doshi. All the spaces are very well connected and integrated as conceived, and from the post-occupancy, all these spaces are very well utilized, and I think that is the success of the project.
Since the architecture of the house is done very beautifully, I had to just complement it with the interiors. And we have worked on the minimalism theme, and we have used all the natural materials in the house. We have used reclaimed wood in the house for the interiors. So all the furniture which you see are with the reclaimed wood. If you look at the wall panelings in the house, like in drawing room, in the master bedrooms, we have used leather polished stones on the walls with the wood. And all the doors of the house, the staircase, the bridge, everything is done with the reclaimed wood. So we had the color palette in white, browns and greys. So we wanted to add some life through the artwork. So we have commissioned two artists. One is my friend Shruti Hemani. She's an architect too. She has done artwork for my daughter's room. And the other paintings are in the drawing room, which are adding life to it. We have been living in the house since last year. So the air and light throughout the day is amazing, giving us a pleasant experience.